Hi, everybody. This is going to be a new channel. It's called The State of Truth. We're going to be exploring everything from DCS, taking custody, to kidnapping our children, trying to put a stop to it, to government corruption. As you know, there's a lot of it going around, a lot of crooked and false accusations, you may say, towards everybody I can even think of, whether you're rich, poor, or just somebody off the street. If you're not in their inner circle, then you're not worth anything. In their book anyway. To me, everybody is worth something. But the fight we have ahead of us with this DCS and I hear everything about defund the police and all this stuff. Um, I'm kind of on the men's with that. I'm not really sure how I feel about that part because you do have some good cops, but you have a lot of bad apples in those cops. And what bothers me a lot is, when you try to go either file a complaint or getting something done to the police that's either assaulted you or just wronged you in some kind of way, you come across as the aggressor pretty much. They're not going to listen to what you got to say, because you're going to be in the wrong no matter what. But maybe it's time for some exposure, people, because that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going to these courtrooms. I'm going to be talking to people. I'm going to be airing it here on my channel. I'm going to have my podcast set up that's going to also go with YouTube. If you have any comments, any suggestions, I'm open to any and all. Like I said, this is something new. I also have friends that's on Facebook. A very good lady that was attorney called Connie Regularly. Um, DCS disbarred her, um, pretty much for standing up for people's rights. It's a corrupt system. What are you going to do? Unless everybody comes together, we're not going to be able to get anything done. People are going to continue to lose their children. We're going to continue to be in depression and all this stuff because, hey, our kids are our lives, and without them, I don't see a good life. But anyway, like I was saying, sorry to get off topic, but Connie Regularly, she has a Facebook um, group. It's called Family Forward Project. Um, I've, I've been in the group for a little while, and there are some wonderful people in that group. Um, they'll answer your questions, talk to you about your case, give you some advice. They're really good people, and a lot of these people are parents that DCS is just taking their children for no reason. There is false drug tests. They send you to their, companies to get these drug tests done. Or, they say this or that about you. And you know what? To be honest, they're bullshitting. They're liars. And they don't care because you know what? I know from experience, contacting Tennessee Ethics Board in Nashville is not going to get you anywhere, especially when it comes to a corrupt judge. I have opened my heart out, me and my husband, over his children and stuff to try to get something done with a corrupt judge here in Lauderdale County. Nope, they stick together. But that's my whole point of the state of truth. It pretty much speaks for itself. It's the state of truth that we're going to explore. I am so sick of these DCS. I am so sick of corrupt cops. And these corrupt cops give the good cops a bad name. And that makes us shy away. I had a cop tell me a while back that you don't talk to us people. Us cops. No, I'm sorry, because you have proven to me you don't protect. You don't listen to what I have to say. You listen to the bad guys. You're not going to protect that child. I've been there. I have custody of my niece. She's from a broken home, a father that molested her, physically abused her, a mother that abandoned her. Let me tell you, that child told DCS. She told the investigators. But guess what? Juvenile officer said, "Oh, I know him. He wouldn't do that." Well, really? Even though the child is telling you this, you still don't believe it. Even though he's a heroin addict, she's putting a needle in his vein every day. He's paranoid schizophrenic, walking around town, talking to himself, talking to elephants in the trees, actually. A literally fruitcase. Oh, but he wouldn't hurt a child. He wouldn't do that. So you let him get by with hurting his own child. That's what I mean by corrupt. That's what I mean by, you know, bad cops, bad DCS workers. Because no matter what you do, what hoops you jump through, it's never going to be good enough. Unless you're there in their tight-knit circle of friends, you're screwed. But hopefully with getting some exposure to some of this stuff, like I said, I'm going to talk to some other people and bring them in, their stories in, if they don't want to be on air. I'm going to go to the court systems and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to listen. I'm going to take my little notes and I'm going to let you people know what's going on. It's time for this to stop. A lot of us are just sick and tired of the bullshit. For you that don't like curse words, excuse my French, but I do cuss. My whole point being, I'm just fed up. Between this state of truth that's going on and some groups that are wonderful people, like I said on Facebook, Families Forward Project, like I was saying, they're wonderful people. Connie regularly, and Miss Wendy, I really look up to them. They started a movement with parents to help fight DCS and this corruption. We need all of you to pitch in and, come into play. And if we stick together, we can make a change. Like I said, it's time for this to stop. I know if I'm sick of it, there's other people that are sick of it. So I'm asking all of you to join me and let's put awareness out there. Let's make a change. Let's stop all of this. We want our children back. We want the corrupt cops to be out of the system. Maybe not completely defund the police, but we do need our voices to be heard when we go to the high-ranking officer, the sheriff or the mayor or whoever we go to, and we file a complaint like, hey, this officer abused me, this officer assaulted me. We want to know that that's going to be taken care of, that it's not going to go the next day and, hey, you have charges on you. Because guess what, people? It happens. Oh, yeah. I had an officer assault me holding my grandchild. I went to the sheriff's house that night. Next morning, guess who went to jail? It wasn't the officer. Oh, no, it was me. I was charged. And I'm raising my grandson and my niece. So those of you that know me knows I can't afford to go to jail. I will go to jail, and I'll rock that orange jumpsuit in a minute for my children and my family. But for a lie, no, I couldn't be away from my children. And it's bad to say when they'll believe the cop before they do you. Even though you filed, you know, um, you went and made a statement. You went to the sheriff. You took the proper channels and you made a report, that, hey, I was assaulted. I was holding a child, a baby when I was assaulted in tears. Nah, this cop is now the investigator for Lauderdale County. Oh, but he's an Army vet, and all this. And, hey, I highly, highly respect the veterans. I do. My father was a veteran. But to take something and use that to make yourself just look better. No, that makes you a coward. You know, whether you was a vet or not, for you to knock down a female holding a child, and then you're a cop. You're nothing in my book. So, I mean, a lot of these cops come to me and they say, "Hey, Tammy," because that's what most of them call me, is Tammy. "Why don't you talk to cops? You don't speak to us. You know, if something comes up, you don't call us." Like I said, I won't, because you've shown me that you won't protect. You've shown me that you will believe the other person over me, even though I either have proof or I actually come to you the day before, and then the officer gets all ticked off and files charges the next day. You know, that's retaliation. You know, you go to the clerk's office, and if somebody has a charge on you and you go to file, they're going to say, "Oh, you can't do that. That's called retaliation. That's a retaliation warrant." But let it be an officer. Guess what happens? They're going to get it. Crooked, crooked, crooked people. But we're going to be exploring all this. And we're going to bust it wide open. And I'm going to let it know. I'm going to take stories from everybody. I'm going to be sitting in them courtrooms. I'm going to be listening. And we're going to see. Because in this small town, and all over Tennessee and across the world, it's mainly corruption. You know, they say all the time, you know, that the world's coming to an end. Look at this and look at that. Maybe so. Maybe not. But what end of that stick do you want to be on? You going to heaven or you going to hell? We're not going to get into the religious views, because I have friends that, I mean, hey, I'm not going to judge anybody. You're Christian, you believe this or you believe that. That's you. You know, we all believe in something, whether it's God, whether it's Buddha, whether it's witchcraft, or anything. I mean, it's to each their own. But I tell you one damn thing, I will fight these people. Not literally, but through my speech. They can't shut me up. They can't shut others up if you stand up and fight. And it's time for that, people. We need to fight for our children. We need to fight against the corruption that's in the court system, or the officers that's here that's supposed to protect us, but they abuse us instead. It's time for a change. So what are you going to do about it? Because I tell you what, state of truth, it's all coming out. And I'm going to fight it every damn day. And I hope that you fight with me. And I hope that you find Connie on Facebook and the group that she has there. Wonderful, wonderful. She also has a YouTube channel. I promise you, if you're fighting for your children, you need to look her up. You need to look that group up, because it's the best help you're going to get. I promise you it will be. Also, I have a Facebook group. It's called Victims Against Bullying. VAB. All the horrible things that we have seen these children go through. And a lot of it stems from these corrupt cops or corrupt judges or corrupt DCS, because they're depressed. So they bully other kids, or they take their own lives. It's not worth it. You need to stand up and fight for these children. When you're being bullied, it's the worst feeling you can feel. Imagine that child alone in a room. They feel like they have no one. They feel like their only option is just to be dead and gone. You want to be that voice for them. You want to stand up and fight for them. We all come together. We can stop so much that is going on because it all stems in together. Because bullying is wrong, dead wrong. But you add the factors in, a lot of it comes with or comes from another child wasn't believed when something happened to them. Or they tried to speak out and say, hey, this person's beating on me. Hey, this person sexually assaulted me. This person has raped me. There goes that corrupt cop, not doing anything. So what's that other child going to do? They're going to bully another child because there's so much anger built up. And they're going to take that anger out on someone else. And it's through bullying. Now, sometimes you see a lot of the kids that are bullies, it just comes from pure hatred from the home. You know, they were taught that way. Or they're so spoiled that, they get their way. Because you can't really discipline your kids anymore without DCS saying, hey, that's abuse. I remember my grandmother whooped my ass with a switch. And I tell you, I turned out pretty decent. I don't do drugs. Never have done drugs. It's time to stand up, people. State of truth.